The former People's National Movement, PNM government, has left Trinidad and Tobago in a deep financial hole. Economist Dr. Valmiki Arjun says the new United National Congress, UNC administration, has inherited a messy and worrying fiscal landscape. Following Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessor's announcement of a $4.42 billion deficit in May and a projected $11 billion deficit for the fiscal year. On Thursday, the Prime Minister spoke of the deficit she said was left by the former People's National Movement, PNM government, which left Trinidad and Tobago in a deep financial hole. She warned that, given the high levels of deficit and debt, this is likely to adversely affect the country's ratings from credit rating agencies. However, the Prime Minister appeared optimistic as she revealed the grim financial status of the country, vowing to find the money to deliver on the promises she made, from increased salaries for workers to laptops for children. The Prime Minister said she had mandated Finance Minister Devendranath Thankoo to provide a report on the state of the Treasury. She said Thankoo met with various officials at the Ministry of Finance and discovered that the country is being run on a month-to-month basis, with expenditures consistently exceeding revenue. In an email exchange with the Sunday Express, Arjun projected that borrowing will be unavoidable, given that the central bank's data already shows a $3.12 billion deficit from October 2024 to February 2025. While March data isn't available yet, combining the available figures gives us a deficit of approximately $8.37 billion, already 117% higher than the $3.85 billion deficit from October 2023 to May 2024. On top of this, the Exchequer account overdraft stood at $47.8 billion in 2023 and likely more now. The urgency to raise funds cannot be overstated, Arjun said. He stressed that the government must rebuild confidence to boost private sector investment while acting swiftly to stabilize public finances. This includes revitalizing hydrocarbon investment by offering better fiscal incentives, leasing small energy fields to local producers, and advancing cross-border energy projects. This is vital because global LNG prices won't save us next year, with Qatar's North Field and other projects increasing supply. We must instead push for production gains and consider diverting more gas to the methanol sector, which currently fetches higher international prices, he said. Arjun suggested that broader policy pivots were needed to remove obstacles to doing business, tackling crime, improving forex access, easing financing, digitalizing approvals, and streamlining customs. If the government combines confident messaging with visible pro-investment reforms and concrete revenue-widening measures in the mid-year review, it could stabilize the economy and spur growth, he said. Gap can longer no be masked. Economist Dr. Marlene Atz pointed out that the fiscal crisis isn't new. We've long operated with a gap between what government earns and spends, she said in a WhatsApp exchange with the Sunday Express. The projected $11 billion deficit signals that this gap can no longer be masked or deferred, she warned. It's not just about identifying the problem. We now need realistic, sustainable solutions. Atz highlighted several indicators of fiscal health, which were the debt to GDP, gross domestic product ratio growing, interest to revenue ratio increasing, foreign reserves dropping, and lowered credit ratings. Asked how the government should prioritize between campaign promises and debt obligations, Atz said, "It comes down to balancing compassion with discipline. Essentials that impact human development, school nutrition, education, healthcare must be protected." She stressed that debt servicing is non-negotiable, as delays or defaults would hurt TNT's credibility and future borrowing costs. Public investments in water, roads, and digital infrastructure must also continue. It stimulates the economy and creates jobs. In short, protect the vulnerable, pay our bills, and invest wisely, she added. Warning to avoid unchecked spending, Atz warned that unchecked spending amid high deficits and campaign promises could trigger several negative outcomes: more borrowing, worsening debt burdens, higher debt servicing costs, limiting funds for other areas, investor flight, raising interest rates or reducing credit, and pressure on foreign reserves, affecting the exchange rate. If we keep spending without increasing revenue, the economy could unravel, especially in a small, trade-reliant country like ours, she said. To cut costs and reduce debt, ATS proposed that the government improve tax collection, close VAT and customs loopholes, control expenditures, freeze non-essential hiring, and target subsidies by focusing on the truly needy. For the medium term, she called for a review of state-owned enterprises, expansion of non-energy exports like creative industries and digital services, and the digitization of government operations to cut costs and improve efficiency. As for plugging monthly cash shortfalls without worsening debt, ATS recommended that the government look at public-private partnerships, PPPs, to fund infrastructure, asset sales such as divesting shares in profitable state-owned enterprises, loans from the Inter-American Development Bank, Caribbean Development Bank, or CAF for climate and infrastructure, develop diaspora bonds to attract investment from Trinidadians and Tobagonians abroad, and tighter engagement with energy firms for more timely and transparent royalty and tax payments, ideally in US dollars.